Excuse me, I'm next in line. Move. Excuse me, I'm next in line. Watch out. Excuse me, I'm next in line. I said move. Excuse me, I'm next in line.
We're going to start off today with some sports talk. So, first things first, the NFL will be having the Super Bowl. Starts at 6:30 tonight. This is the Blood Bowl. All Crips are sad they can't watch football for the last game of the year. But the 49ers are facing the Kansas City Chiefs. Probably one of the weirdest Super Bowls team-wise, if you really think about it. Not to say the two teams don't deserve it. Great seasons, great records. But historically, who's ever thinking the 49ers are going to play the Chiefs for the Super Bowl in the last, 20 years? I would never see this coming. The highlight of the game, though, regardless of how the game goes, is, of course, the commercials and a halftime show featuring both J-Lo and Shakira. Anybody who knows me knows which one I'm more excited for. But anyone who knows Charles knows it's the other one that he likes. Other than that, the XFL will be starting for those who are sad football season is ending. And the New York Guardians, which will be our local team, will start their games on February 9th. So just a couple more days for some more football. Don't worry about it if you're one of those crazy people who are sad that the weeks are over. There's still more to come. Just this time, a little bit more harder hits, perhaps the live-action version of NFL Blitz for those who understand what that means. In NBA, the Nets are in 7th place in the Eastern Conference, so they went up one, and the Knicks are 13th, which means there's still two teams crappier than them. This is great. This is a great time. It's a great time to be a Knicks fan. They're actually winning a game here and there, and that's important because they're not the worst team in the league anymore. This is a great thing. It's a great thing for all of us. Also, Friday night, the Lakers did their tribute to Kobe, so that's out the way. But if you listen to what everyone who knew Kobe said, he's about moving on. So don't let this burden you, although I will call you out, internet. I saw Nipsey Hussle crap for about 3 weeks. I want to see at least a month of Kobe stuff still posted on the internet. But it does not mean that we have to stop. So any of you guys who know that I'm an internet memer, I will now start allowing the post and the memes that I find that are Kobe shade memes. Starting today. Don't care how you feel about it. But Kobe said move on. It's time to crack the jokes again. That's just how this works. All right. In NHL, nothing's changed for us who are New Yorkers. Islanders are still in 3rd. Rangers and Devils are still at the end of the division. And the Rangers are slightly better than the Devils, which always seems to be the case anyway. So that is our sports talk. And when we come back from this break, we're going to run down one of the few WWE pay-per-views that matched up to their NXT counterparts in the Royal Rumble. So Charles, if you could, take us to our break.
I know. They know. They said they with me from the bottom to the top, and they praying I will never ever stop. I know. And life's a roller coaster till it drops, and even then I will never ever stop. I know. Yeah, I know. They know. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. They know. Yeah. I know they've been wanting more. This is what they waited for. I'm back to kicking down the doors and leave my footprints on the floor. Yeah, see, I know. 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 They said they with me from the bottom to the top, and they praying I will never ever stop. Yeah, I know. And life's a roller coaster till it drops, and even then I can never ever stop. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know, I know, I know. Yeah, I know, I know, I know. Yeah, I know, I know, I know. Yeah. Yo, you know what's funny? I'm always asked what takes me so long to get back to music. And I don't think people understand, like, so much shit has been going down, lost my house. Like, I've been in and out of hospitals, I've been sick. But I told them I'll be back. And I'm here. Lost and found. Yeah, see, I know. Yeah, see, I know. Yeah, see, I know, I know, I know. Yeah, see, I know. Yeah, see, I know. Yeah, see, I know, I know, I know. They said they with me from the bottom to the top, and they praying I will never ever stop. Yeah, I know. And life's a roller coaster till it drops, and even then I can never ever stop. Yeah, I know, I know, I know. 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 Yeah. Yeah, see, I know. Yeah, see, I know. Yeah, see, I know, I know, I know. Yeah, see, I know. Yeah, see, I know. Yeah, see, I know, I know, I know. They said they with me from the bottom to the top, and they praying I will never ever stop. Yeah, I know. And life's a roller coaster till it drops, and even then I can never ever stop. Yeah, I know, I know, I know. 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 Yeah, I know, I know. Yeah, I know, I know, I know. Yeah, I know, I know, I know. Yeah, I know,
We're back. So, last Sunday after my show, two things happened at the same time: the Royal Rumble and the Grammys. Now, I don't know why the Grammys thought that they can compete with WWE, but they tried. And of course, my attention was not given to them because, well, an award show where Lizzo and Billie Eilish are the majority of your category nominees, I'm not even gonna waste my time. This is, I, Billie Eilish is an over-glorified emo chick from like 1990s, but now, for when like the entire generation is emo, and Lizzo is an experience. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Not even to say that her music is bad. I got some of it on my iPod. Can't hate. The music is cool, but she as a person, yeah, I give her music more credit. You know, it's legit, but no, no. There's certain people you don't want to see winning. If you want to call me a hater, call me a hater. I just can't watch it. Anywho, like I said, I gave my focus to WWE. So, the Royal Rumble went down. For this particular case, I took out the pre-show matches because I already had low expectations. You had the Shorty G match versus Sheamus, kind of just to kind of promote Sheamus coming back after a long stay away. And of course, Sheamus wins. I mean, I kind of saw that coming. They even tried to follow it up with another match later in the week where Sheamus wins. Duh. Like, he's getting a push because it was really injury that took him out. It wasn't that they didn't want him and he left and then they re-signed him. That's not the case. At the same time, Shorty G is a gimmick character at this point. So, gimmick character, guy who needs push, it just makes sense. There was no point in watching that. And the same thing with the Andrade match versus Humberto Carrillo. Humberto Carrillo keeps getting screwed out of titles, period. Since 2005, it's just a fact. He should have been a champion. They're not going to let him be a champion anytime soon. So, yeah, this is one of those Andrade pushes that he's getting because he's sleeping with Charlotte Flair. I'm going to call it what it is. I mean, not to say he's not a great wrestler, but no one is really going to be dating Charlotte Flair with no expectations of rewards dating the Flair family. And honestly, he could do much better than her. But he wants his title, so there you go. Yes, he can. No. He can't. He can do better. And look at the man. Look at the man.
No, I'm saying career-wise.
Oh, career-wise, no, he can't. He can't do any better unless he's like messing. Yeah, right. If you want to be the next Triple H, stick to Charlotte Flair, because Seth already took Becky, and they won't let his character die, no matter how much everybody hates him right now, right? But no, so we skipped those matches. We're going straight into the main event itself. So the first major match was Roman Reigns versus Baron Corbin, and this match I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5, just because we've seen them fight so much in the development of this rivalry, right? We've seen them fight week after week after week. One thing about this, it wasn't no falls anywhere. They really did use the territory. It seemed realistic, the match. But it's just kind of like ad nauseum, we're tired of seeing them fight. We are. They've been fighting for literally like 3 months straight, almost every week in some way, shape, or form. I mean, I get that you have to build a storyline, but a lot of the time with storylines, let's say you have like a Randy Orton or an Edge, and I bring this up for a particular reason, there are a lot of like after-match hits or interview hits. They're not really fighting each other until the pay-per-view. So all of it's built up in the trash talk. All of it's built up in the like sneaky assaults. All this. That's when it's fun. That's when you're just like, yeah, because now they're going to finally fight each other. These guys been fighting for weeks, bro. We didn't need a single match. And it wasn't even like the winner of the match gets to enter the Royal Rumble. That at least, a little more at stake. A little something on it. Maybe I can watch it with enthusiasm. But they both were in the Royal Rumble. So, who cares? At first they even said the winner of this match goes to the Royal Rumble, and the guy corrected him like, no, they're both going to be in it no matter what. And you're like, oh, wait, no? Really? Okay, fine, I don't care. So 3 out of 5. Then they had the Women's Royal Rumble. Now, in years past, can't say I'm the biggest fan of this match. But this particular Women's Royal Rumble was excellent. A lot of back and forth, a lot of surprise eliminations, a couple introductions to a lot more of the NXT superstar roster, which I think was necessary because now they didn't have to rely on all of these legends who've previously been there. So it was pretty good. The only thing about it, though, Charlotte Flair wins the Women's Royal Rumble. And nobody wanted that. Now, someone said, I think it's because she's going to be the first person to make the NXT Women's Championship a main event. Because she's going to probably be the one to challenge the NXT Women's Champion. To which, okay, maybe that makes things a little more interesting. But all in all, we had Bianca Belair and Shayna Baszler both eliminate 8 women, right? New record for the Women's Royal Rumble. And Bianca Belair was in it for over 30 minutes. Shayna Baszler did her eliminations in under 10. Like, these are the NXT women who were doing amazing. Then, because of the fact that Charlotte won and there's talk that she might be the NXT champion, we have the NXT Women's Championship up at a major pay-per-view next month. So we don't know who the champion's going to be. Is it going to be the bad Aussie chick who's winning now, or is it going to be Belair, who also just developed the little head-on-head, one-on-one action against Charlotte in the Rumble? So now there's a rivalry there, too. That makes things a little more interesting. But then the one person I really thought deserved it from their entire performance, besides Bianca, was Beth Phoenix. This girl spent more than half an hour in that match with a bloodied skull. And that wasn't catch up. No, she really got her head busted open in that match and fought all the way through. That I was very disappointed that she didn't win. And even more disappointed that it was Charlotte Flair who won. Like, you know what I'm saying? If Beth Phoenix had lost to Shayna Baszler, I could have accepted it. If she lost to Bianca, I could have accepted it. But to Charlotte, no one wanted Charlotte. No one wants her in another championship opportunity. She has, for whatever reason, they gave her the 10th title and then took it away from her immediately just to say she had 10. It's not worth it. So that was very disappointing. And still, the match overall, 4 out of 5. If you have the network, or you can go on YouTube, whatever you want to watch, you need to watch this particular match. It was excellent. But the ending, I have to ruin it for you because, well, it's a week later. You already missed your chance to watch it live. Sorry. Next was the Bayley versus Lacey Evans match, and this match I give a 2 out of 5. No one wanted this match. Bayley is not as big of a superstar as she was because she lost her gimmick. And Bad Bayley doesn't really do it for anyone. Lacey Evans is someone who got a major push despite never earning it. She didn't earn her push on NXT. No one understood how she made it to the main roster onto SmackDown. They keep throwing her in these opportunities for the championship. And then this boiled down to one of the most simple matches of all time, where a belly-to-belly is a finisher or a punch to the face is a finisher. So how is no one winning this match in 5 seconds one way or the other, where you just run up to her and flip her over and throw her down? You're belly-to-belly. Or how is it she just didn't land a right cross across your face? Like a punch, like a single punch. Yeah, so this match was just very boring. It was drawn out. I give it a 2 out of 5 just because there were parts where Bayley beat the crap out of her outside the ring, which I got to enjoy because I really hate Lacey Evans as a character. I really do. It's terrible. She doesn't deserve any of the push that she's gotten in the past year and a half. It's just garbage. The match following that was The Fiend versus Daniel Bryan. And I give this match a 3 out of 5. For a lot of people, this was a big favorite match. These guys were tied up on the rope and whatever. But why is it 3 out of 5? Because I already expected the ending. I already knew The Fiend was walking away with this. This was very predictable to me. Even the parts of the match where they're cool when Daniel Bryan takes the straps and starts trying to beat The Fiend with it, but The Fiend has no reaction, or just a whole bunch of other stuff that happened in the match. It's just kind of very predictable. There's nothing wrong with the match. It's just very predictable. It felt very stale, very whatever for me. But I saw the crowd loving it, so I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 because unless you're someone who watches as much wrestling as I do, this is going to be a fun match for you to watch. After that, you had Becky Lynch versus Asuka. This match I give it 3.5 out of 5. I think it was a good match. I really wanted Becky Lynch to lose. I am a huge Asuka fan. I am tired of Becky Lynch as champion right now because they haven't really developed enough rivalry for her. Even the development of this match was very weak. It was just a very weak setup just to kind of, give the champion something to do. And it has nothing to do with Becky Lynch. I think she's a great in-ring wrestler. I just think the whole man act has gotten old. And I think that she needs someone new to fight. If Shayna Baszler had won the Royal Rumble and started to build that rivalry with Becky Lynch right now, I could understand Asuka losing this match. But this would have been a great opportunity for Asuka to have 2 belts, to build up some sort of back and forth between her and Lynch to carry on until WrestleMania, where you have Becky Lynch fighting Shayna Baszler. I thought that would have been a great opportunity just to kind of give that back and forth. But no, they wasted it. The match was solid. Kind of the whole she used the spit thing against her this time. Cool. But yeah, there was a missed opportunity there, especially since Asuka is probably the most screwed wrestler in WWE right now. Period. And last but not least was the Men's Royal Rumble, the whole reason we watched the whole damn thing, right? A lot of people were upset by how this match started, but I think WWE made a really good decision and a really great move doing what they did. Brock Lesnar took out the first 13 people to come to this match. As expected, the one-on-ones were easily in his favor, but at one point, Rey Mysterio survived with the guys from the New Day, and the 3 of them, when they were jumping him, was great, but when he countered, that was incredible. That was amazing. Brock Lesnar had an amazing performance in this Royal Rumble. I don't care what anyone says about it. And I liked how they utilized it to get rid of some of the people. This Rumble wasn't as gimmicky. This Rumble didn't need a lot of legends brought back for no reason. This Rumble was really the story of Brock Lesnar showing his dominance and then creating someone who could beat Brock Lesnar. Because that's always the big thing. You bring Brock Lesnar back when you don't have someone who's leading the show or the brand. You bring him back because he is dominance. So who can beat Brock Lesnar? And they built someone because they didn't have anyone with enough of a fan backing, right? There was no Seth Rollins this time. Drew McIntyre wins the Royal Rumble as the man who took out Brock Lesnar, and he took out name after name after name through the rest of this. On the low, too. He was doing some sneaky stuff, hit a couple claymores on people. I mean, the big story of the Royal Rumble was the return of Edge. When he came in and just had a spear fest, that was amazing. Edge stole the show. Adam Copeland stole the show. And it was mildly disappointing he didn't win. The best part of the entire Rumble for me was actually seeing his face when he first walked out. And you can see how close he was to actually crying as he's entering the match. Like, he's just, the whole experience of being back in WWE, back with all the fans cheering for him, because we've all missed him. He was a great character, a great wrestler, legendary champion, rated R superstar, you know what I'm saying? It was just a really awesome moment as a fan, as someone who saw him come up from when him and Christian were first entering. They were like the Wild Boys, the Concerto Twins, the first people to really jump into the TLC matchup with the Hardys and the Dudleys. You know, that's a legendary tag team. And his progression from that tag team wrestler to solo champion and creating such a strong persona, it's just awesome to see him back in the fight, especially with 9 years removed from a neck injury. So that was great. The tale of this Rumble was 2 matches. Brock Lesnar beating the crap out of everyone, and who could win once Brock was finally eliminated. And it didn't let anyone down to even the 30th entrant. It was an amazing match. This was a perfect Royal Rumble for me. And I think because the Royal Rumble matches themselves were great, I give this entire Rumble a B. The rest of it was kind of meh, but I expect meh from the main roster. But I watched the Royal Rumble for the Royal Rumble match, right? I'm not watching it for all the individual little Sorry, that for me is extra. In fact, the Royal Rumble matches themselves are about as long as every other pay-per-view. This was about a 4-hour show, folks, because of these Royal Rumble matches, instead of the 2.5 hours you normally get out of a PPV. And the matches that are worth watching are the ones that you watch for. So I give a B to the event, although if you look at my number system, you could probably end up with a D, and it makes sense, but screw that. The Royal Rumbles themselves were awesome, so watch it if you can on playback. Oh, MVP coming back? That was... Well, I mean, the funny part about it was when MVP came, Brock Lesnar danced. That was the best part of MVP coming into the Rumble. But he wasn't really that relevant at all, other than that one particular moment. I mean, Edge came back the next night, and Randy Orton beat the crap out of him. Beth Phoenix was on NXT that Wednesday talking about that event and also her Rumble experience. But it's not the end of Edge. We're gonna see more of Edge coming, and I'm hoping to see Edge versus Orton at Mania. That's what I want. As for MVP, I mean, even when he was a mainstay character, he was a very gimmicky character. Let's just be real about it. He's fun, he's entertaining. I love his social media, but that's definitely not one of the big notes of Royal Rumble weekend this time around. So on that note, we're going to wrap it up, and then we're going to go on commercial break to come back and talk about what's going on in the news and the views. So, Charles, good?
Understand it on that time, yeah. Clocking in the dough. Try to disrespect you, get flatline. Yeah, homie, pushing up a rose. Say my name 3 times like Kenny, man. Boy, I be coming through the dough. Indoor, outdoor, fired up now. Who really wants smoke? Understand it on that time. Yeah, these be clocking in the dough. Try to disrespect you, get flatline. Yeah, homie, pushing up a rose. Say my name 3 times like Kenny, man. Boy, I be coming through the dough. Indoor, outdoor, fired up now. Who really wants smoke? Tell me who really wants smoke. Action. Not talk about lights, camera, and snap. If you wanna see me, I mean a
traction. Not studying your mumble rap, mo. Got goons to hold it down, they packing. And they quick to pull a blam out on me. Never stress on bullshit, I'm relaxing. Pay no attention to your flow with a boy. And when niggas be talking but really say nothing. Flash on the gram like they really be something. Give out ass whooping, so tell me who won it. Disrespect, confrontation, man, I love it. Always on the ground, call me Chopper. Shot a slick mouth, I hope you came with a doctor. Fly like they airwolf, chopper helicopter. Got me shutting down in your city showstopper. I'm proper, listen. All about the money, dudes be moving funny, so these lames stay broke. I kinda bummy, wrapped up like a mummy, yeah, them I was a joke. Understand what's on that time, yeah, them I clocking in the dough. Try to disrespect you, get flatline, yeah, homie pushing up a rose. Say my name 3 times like Kenny, man, boy, I be coming through the dough. Indoor, outdoor, fired up now, who really want smoke? Understanding on that time, yeah, need my pocket in the dough. Try to disrespect you, get flatline, yeah, homie pushing up a rose. Say my name 3 times like Kenny, man, boy, I be coming through the dough. Indoor, outdoor, fired up now, who really want smoke? Tell me who really want friction, problems. Diamonds, the solution, let me solve them. Hand skills on point, watch me drop. Don't be scared, be frightened, nighty-night, I'm got the ops in my sight, so I watch them. Stay on point, you will never catch me slipping. Got my ears to the streets, I hear them plotting. Before they even see it coming, I'm a rock. Money is time and time is money. Been through the storm, now my days looking sunny. Hands up tight, fella, I'm soon snatching honey. Give the bitch back, don't want that lovey-dovey. Got no time for the fake.
But I thought that they brought.
Then show up to your wake.
Yeah,
watch out for the phonies, cause they
that
filled
were
with the
gonna
hate.
have-
Knowing deal well they wanna jump up in your place. Wait, what's up, fuck up or get one? Look up, killer army, some people they sleep. Wolf up in the forest, you was just a tourist, man. I'm a beast, you a sheep. She's standing on that time. Yeah, what's the clocking in the dough? Try to disrespect you, get flatline. Yeah, homie pushing up a rose. Say my name 3 times like Kenny, man. Boy, I be coming through the dough. Indoor, outdoor,
Right, that would've been-
now, who really want smoke? Understanding on that time, yeah, they clocking in the dough.
But the next
Try to
night,
disrespect you, get flatline. Yeah, homie pushing up a rose. Say my name 3 times like Kenny, man. Boy, I be coming through the dough. Indoor, outdoor,
And
fired
then
up
they
now,
become
who really want smoke?
and screwed you over. Exactly. All right, so a couple things happening locally in New York. I wanted to just jot through real quick. First is that Madison Square Garden, not that Brooklyn Arena, will be hosting the 144th Westminster Dog Show, which, you know, normally not something I would brag about, but it seems like everything goes to that Brooklyn Arena. I'm not saying no names, but the historical stuff, the classic stuff. I mean, considering how much people go gaga over dogs, and figure dog fans, MSG, man, that's the real arena. That's the stadium of New York right there. If it's not that, it's Yankee Stadium, but this is a different sport, so MSG. So they're going to be hosting that event. That'll be February 9th to the 11th. So for those of you who are crazy dog addicts, this may be the event for you. Also, the Chelsea Flea Market supposedly closed down, but now they've got new management. The guys from Brooklyn will be taking over, and will still hold the Chelsea Flea Market on West 25th Street. So it will be coming back. It'll be all year round. It'll be on weekends too. So for those hipsters who like small stuff like that, there you go. That's there for you in New York. There will also be 10 miles worth of protected bike lanes, meaning no cars allowed. Possible scooters might get through because they move kind of fast, but no cars allowed. Added to Brooklyn coming in the next year or so. So a lot more bicyclists will be able to move around without being hit by vehicles or worried about being hit by vehicles in that borough. And Brooklyn is probably the biggest bicycle borough out of the 5 probably because of the hipster influence. But in all honesty, you see a lot more people out there on the regular any day of the week than even in Manhattan. And Manhattan already has these bike lanes, but it's just not even convenient for a lot of the messengers to be on bikes, and it's not convenient for a lot of people to just bike around. So I think that's a pretty good idea, pretty something safe for the citizens of Brooklyn. So we'll see how that works out. Also, yesterday would have been a big lunar festival celebration in Flushing, Queens, but scare from the coronavirus has canceled that event. And it was funny because I had just a few days before explained to people that normally these type of viruses, I feel are overhyped. Like when Ebola was a thing, I felt that was overhyped. And outside of Africa, of course, but like in China, coronavirus, Wuhan virus, whatever you want to call it, is a big deal. Makes sense. In the U.S. though, meh. But the thing about it is that you have something that is a major virus in China, a time of year that a lot of people travel to see their family. They may have left just before the virus became big enough for people to talk about, and they have actually already contracted it. You'll have people who are stuck over there right now because they went to go and get it, may have come back, thinking everything was okay, and then they brought it with them. This is Lunar New Year, or the ending of Lunar New Year, the festival anyway. But this is also the beginning of the Lunar New Year, is a big time for when Chinese people visit relatives all over because it's like their holiday season, right? This is scary because you now don't know who has it. And, just the other day, 3 people walk into where I work with the virus. It's one of those kind of things. So I'm not saying that, you should go and run scared of Chinese people, but there's a reason why the WHO has officially mandated that this is now a global crisis. And I don't think anybody really thought about the fact that this virus became a thing just before a lot of the people who are affected by it travel. If this had happened in June, would not be a big deal, to be honest with you. I'll say that straight up. June, it's just that it was contracted in the area, and a lot of people from said area are traveling. We've had a couple of deaths in that area related to the virus. A lot more people infected and sick because of the virus, and people from this area are traveling. Just be wary, is all I'm saying. And yeah, it is official. Last week I was saying they didn't declare it. As of 2 days ago, it officially became a thing. It is now considered a global crisis. So, something to be wary of, folks. But also, in the world of science, for whatever reason, people have decided to add microchips to jellyfish to increase how fast they can swim. So, essentially, instead of the robo scientists trying to create a motorized jellyfish or something, they figured, why not just make a jellyfish more efficient? I don't know who in their right mind thinks that the jellyfish is an animal that needs to be made faster. Like, no. They sting and it hurts. I don't like it. It's a bad idea. And it's actually been proven that whatever this microchip is, they're inserting into the brain of the jellyfish is making them freaking faster, 3 times faster. This is scary. Who wants to make fast jellyfish? Part of what's okay about jellyfish is that when you see them, there's a slight chance you can get away because they kind of do the whole bloop, bloop thing. No, now these things bloop, 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 bloop. I'm not with it. That's a stupid idea. It's like adding a speed thing to a shark. You don't do that. What's wrong with you people? There's not enough pee in the world if everybody's stung by damn jellyfish. It just isn't. But that's the thing. That's an actual thing. I could not believe I read that in the news. Also, something that tech has been doing is that by the end of 2020, they want to spin a rocket into outer space. So they're developing a centrifuge right now that after about an hour of rotating a rocket should have built up enough speed to kind of just launch it and have it spin into the stratosphere. And once in the stratosphere, there'll be another propellant. So you won't need as big, like you ever seen a rocket go off and there are parts that are falling off of it, kind of like as the boosters shoot it up and up and up. So supposedly they'll spin it around for an hour and only need one booster to really get it the rest of the way, which makes it less dangerous and more cost effective. To which I'm kind of just like, do we really need that? Like, do we really need something that's going to spin around a rocket for an hour to shoot it off? No, I'm just used to counting to 10 and then poof, it's gone. I mean, if we really need to be shooting rockets out anywhere, does this seem like the most effective way to do it? I don't know. I'm thinking too much about it because I'm thinking about what happens when humans have to race off the planet and go to a different planet, and then we're spending an hour just spinning around. Like that doesn't make any sense. You know, too many science fiction movies maybe, but you know, normally when you just get on the thing and it's like 10 count and then you fly away, 10 seconds, hour spinning. And maybe it's just me. Maybe. And also, I'm gonna put this in Trump tech news because Trump is just funny. And the Space Force has been the brunt of many jokes. Many jokes this past week because of the uniform that, like other camo gear, you know, was meant to kind of be the camo for what the Space Force does. But, I mean, do you really think they're going to be camouflaging in space? So, like, a whole, like, black star-looking thing. Not the best uniform. In fact, it makes me think of something I thought about for an anime character I created when I was 8. But, yeah. And, yeah, you can't really do a space camo uniform, considering that most of the space technology we currently have, I mean, you're connected to a ship. So even if you're hiding that long tube that connects you to the ship, just saying. But the other thing is that people were making fun of the logo because the logo looks like they straight up ripped off Star Trek Enterprise. So, you know, Donald Trump really thinking about it. He wants to see if he can really make a Captain Picard. So it's really been something dumb in Trumpian news, right? Trump and Captain Picard. Let's make that happen. Also, that Captain Picard show, not that bad. I mean, but can you really go wrong? You really can't go wrong. He's a good solo character. He's probably the best part of his entire Star Trek season. So, you know, just something there. But yeah, this has been really funny if you've been tracking it. There's a lot of funny tweets and Instagram posts about how dumb these guys are. So definitely, you know, enjoy the internet on that one. But some other things happening in media. So Marvel has officially declared Rick and Morty a part of their universe. In a recent comic, they have the characters actually watching an episode of Rick and Morty. So Rick and Morty fans are very excited and happy they've been Marvel accepted. And especially when you know many things about Rick and Morty, as well as Marvel, essentially Rick and Morty actually exist in Marvel because of how there's so many different dimensions and how the, you know, things in the TV are real but not and whatever. So in both worlds, Marvel is now in Rick and Morty is now in Marvel. It's a thing. They're official. They're brother and sister. That'd be a great little extra thing to add into one of those MCU movies now. Just randomly one day, just do it. Just add it. An extra scene where Rick just walks into the real world like, the F is this place, and then zips away. Perfect. I just gave you that. You know, just give me that credit when you put it in the movie. All right, thanks. And then Ellen DeGeneres did something awesome this week, and she gave a $20,000 scholarship to DeAndre Arnold, a black kid from Texas who has been kicked out of school and told he could not go to his graduation until he cuts off his dreadlocks. Which sadly seems to be a very consistent story in Midwestern states where kids with dreadlocks are persecuted for having dreadlocks. Obviously, all these kids are black. I just think this is ridiculous, but shout out to Ellen for showing love to this kid who obviously is going through a very rough time for no real reason. And frankly, a lot of dread-headed people aren't necessarily Rastafarian, but if you are a Rastafari and you represent yourself with the dreadlocks, I'd be calling out so many different groups for having my religion persecuted, for having my belief system persecuted by these people. I'd be rich. I'd be freaking rich. Just, kid, get rich. Like, just put them on blast, put everything on blast, and get paid for this, because, you know, all you gotta do is add a little accent, and all these mofos can't say nothing to you. That's just how I roll. And then fun stuff in media. If you check on the Will's Review page as well as on the XY101 page on Facebook, you will see a video, or a link to a video, I should say, of a woman getting her butt beat in her own home as her boyfriend watches. So the best part to this video is that some angry lady is recording herself mad, sort of breaking into the house. And I say sort of because the boyfriend answers the door, and as she pushes by to get by him, he doesn't yell at her to leave. So I consider it, you know, she definitely forced herself in there, but it wasn't like she wasn't welcome. Then proceeds to place her phone down, angle it so that way it will definitely record what she does. The boyfriend doesn't attempt to grab the phone and give it back to her, whatever it is. Finds the girl, beats the crap out of the girl. Boyfriend doesn't stop any of it. Just kind of like, oh, wow, damn, oh no. The entire time, this girl beats up his girlfriend. She had on her Timbs, so shout out to you for wearing Timbs as a New Yorker, you know, and stomped this girl's head in. Now, the best part about it sounds like the audio of the attacker in the video sounds like she's beating this girl up for a comment that she put on another girl's status. So the girl who she actually wants to beat up isn't even this girl, but she beat this girl for hyping up the girl who was talking trash about her. And said, so you wanted to fight too? Here it is. Beat your butt. Now I'm gonna go find the other girl, beat her butt. This was literally one of those great internet videos, because I can't believe this actually happened, in all honesty. This was awesome. This was great. I'm so happy that the boyfriend was completely negligent in the entire situation. It's useless, absolutely useless. But yes. And last but not least, as we move closer to Valentine's Day, I found this to be hilarious and also really bad. But this Netflix U thing has gone a little too far, when now that there are officially Netflix U Valentine's Day cards you can give to people. So if you want to sound like an overly obsessed stalker, you can now buy the cards that will show just how much you love someone who doesn't love you. So there that goes. This series has just been a huge internet meme. It's been a huge internet sensation. Frankly, I just wish, you know, SNB from Gossip Girl can just calm this fool's wave down like they used to do on her show. So, yeah, but this is the thing now. So if you want to sound like a stalker, there are the cards for you. And on that note, we're going to go to our last commercial break. When we come back, tons of movies and the fans of the week.
I got shorty on the knees like Kaepernick, no protesting. Told me she practiced abstinence, well, she learned her lesson. Gotta know who you playing with, you around who's on that player-ish. Don't play with fire, that's dangerous. My suggestion, go to church, start confessing, cause I don't really wanna rap with you. I don't care about your dad issues, baby girl, I got mad issues. I ain't trying to be a looking at you like I told you so. I know I gotta look in my soul. I want a lady, but I fuck with hoes as a young. That's how it goes.
And I know it's bad. Look, I'm trying to refrain. Girl, I'm trying to change. I'm saying,
yo, I really want something real. Don't know how that feels, but I'd be lying if I I said I wasn't trying for you. Whoever you is, I'm waiting on the right one to step up on the plate. Hit the home run, take me to my fate, let me know you on son. Cause I don't know how to take it slow. I'll take it right now if you say so. It's okay though. Girl, switch it up, we can lay low. She asking me what's on the side. Nothing is something is on the line. Bear with me, it's gonna take some time. My money come first. Play with my money, get hit with the skirt. I hope you out here thinking the same. Broke, nah, that ain't my thing. I ain't trying to play none of them games. Oh, fuck, I look like one of these lames. I've been inside like all year's winter. I can't trust hoes. I seen them on Tinder and BMs and DMs. Thirsty for niggas, that's why I'm acting the way that I do. You're special if something is different for you. You're special if you taking time for my crew. Can't lie, this is something new. Not too many girls I call my boo. And yo.
And I know it's bad. Look, I'm trying to refrain. Girl, I'm trying to change. I'm saying,
Yo, I really want something real. Don't know how that feel.
We're back. So let's get to our fans of the week. First is Aaron Shelton, who has won this several times last year. So shout out to him for being quite the active follower and fan of the page. Same for Tara Moreno. It's been a while, but she's won this several times before last year as well. So they've been fans for a little over a year now, and they've been quite active. So shout out to them for showing much love to the Facebook page. And on the Instagram side, we have Minnie Monroe, Shakina, and Kevin Action Jackson, who have both been multi-winners before in the past as well. So shout out to y'all for always showing love. All right. But then our picture of the week, there are a lot of things that were posted this week. Some Kobe stuff, some funny stuff, some really offensive stuff, because that's just what we do on Instagram. But this by far is the best picture of the week because there's been nothing cuter I found on the internet all week. I love Kitty Gara. That is a beautiful cat dressed up to look like an anime character from Naruto, who is the Tsuchikage. I love this guy. He's great. He's just destructive with sand, and this cat is adorable. I'm normally not for dressing up your pet. I think it's dumb, but this is just too cute. I love that cat. And anywho, a bunch of stuff was watched this week. First is the movie Hansel and Gretel. There have been tons of remakes of this. This particular one focuses on making Gretel a witch and her brother being extremely, extremely dumb. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't entertaining, if that makes any sense. Like, you really felt every minute of this movie going by. Conceptually, there were some cool things done, and for that, I'm going to give this a 2 out of 5. I think that it just wasn't executed the way it could have been. Even the ending was a bit anticlimactic. Felt a bit like a bad old-time version of Matilda. Like, yeah, this was a very disappointing movie. Not to say I had the highest expectations, but I did expect it to go somewhere. So yeah, and then behind that, there was also something on Netflix called The Untamed. So I watched the second out of the Chinese dramas that I've watched this particular week, and I had high expectations because the last one I watched was actually pretty entertaining. This, however, is garbage. Despite having action sequences that look like they were poorly ripped out of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, this was very disappointing. I give it a 1.5 out of 5, and the 1.5 is just because some of the action that does exist was mildly entertaining. But all in all, this is just garbage. The other one that I watched this week was The Ghost Bride, which is something I wasn't sure how I would feel. It seemed really more to be more like a soap opera. Then it got really interesting. It's a girl who is in love with someone from her childhood, but it would be more convenient for her family if she married someone who just died and would live her life out waiting to die to meet him in the afterlife. And some other stuff goes awry. There's a god that becomes a part of the picture and things like that. And it becomes really, really fun and interesting and creative. even the way that the season ends leaves you like, oh snap, I want to see more. It was a really good show. However, I think again, because it is more of a Chinese drama, it won't exactly fit with the American audience. So I'm gonna give it a 3.5 out of 5 because I think you should give it a chance. But I understand that there would be a lot of people on this side of the Pacific Ocean who are not that into it. But there's a lot of good stuff to it, especially if you like action, but also if you just like really witty shows. So it's really cool. It's a nice little drama, but yeah, I definitely would recommend that. Then Fortune Feimster, who is like this really big lesbian that we see in a lot of random TV shows and movies. She did a stand-up special, and I give it a 4 out of 5. It's not one of those stand-up specials that is going to leave you laughing so hard your ribs hurt. I feel like it's a really smart special, though, with a lot of really good jokes that build up upon each other. I think it was a really good stand-up performance. I just don't think there's anything too hard-hitting. That's why it's not a perfect score. But I think everything about this, anyone can laugh to. The mere fact that she's this big, tall lesbian explaining her entire life story in North Carolina, right? And the audience is laughing at even the gay jokes. That's how good of a special this is. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those. I thought it was really, really well written. The performance was pretty. I think that's the other reason why you don't get a big hit. She's not monotone, but she's very kind of like straight with it. So the jokes will just kind of slide in there, kind of like a British comedy movie. It was just really good though. I think everyone should give this a particularly good shot. It's just you just know you're not gonna have those moments. It's not gonna be a thing. Another Netflix movie, original, Jezebel, is the story of a young girl whose family, her family loses the matriarch. They're all living in the house with their oldest daughter, and her boyfriend, and none of them really work. Even the oldest daughter just works doing like sex phone calls. This takes place in the 90s when that was still a thing, and just before cam girls became a thing. So the other daughter ends up kind of interested in that world of, sex entertainment and ends up as a cam girl. Now, this is a movie that you're kind of waiting for it to kind of get somewhere. Never really gets anywhere. Even the ending of the movie doesn't feel like the ending of something. And although there's all this talk about sex and even scenes that are supposed to be somewhat sexual, you don't even see a titty. Like, what kind of movie about sex has no sex? No nudity? Like, what's going on? The closest you get is a scene where there's no bra and she's completely covering her boobs. Like, what is this? I know it's just like, oh, well, you're such a pervert. It's like, no, this just doesn't make any sense. This isn't something that was in theaters. This isn't something with a PG rating. So why is it that you're, a topic and then not giving the movie to the topic? I'm just saying, no good. No good. I feel, though, that there are going to be people who can kind of relate to the situation. There may even be some who relate all the way down to the cam girl part for the desperation, and others who will at least be able to see the negative side of that world before they jump into it. So on that note, I'm going to give this movie 2 out of 5 because maybe you can get something out of it. But as far as the rest of us who are watching it because I read the trailer and this looked like this could be entertaining, it's not. It's really not. But for everybody else, if this has anything to do with some of your life choices, watch it. Get some reality. Relate to it. Next is the movie Legend. Finally hit Netflix. It's Tom Hardy playing 2 roles as a gangster. And it's a very long movie, over 2 hours long, but it is really good. It was well written, very witty, good action sequences, and the only thing about it is that it's really long. It's really long, and it's somewhat from the perspective of the wife, which I felt was absolutely unnecessary. So I give it a 3.5 out of 5. Just that's simply it. She really was. She wasn't enough of a focus of the film for her to be the narrator, and because she was the narrator, some of the stuff that happened, it didn't feel like she would know that it happened for her to be telling us it. That it just kind of just didn't fit logically. So, with that being a core component to the movie, I gotta just take away points for that. Veer Das, who I've talked about before, absolutely love his stand-up comedy, released another special called For India. And I give it a 4 out of 5. I don't feel like it was as funny, but I feel like it's a great way for people who don't know much about India to learn a couple things about India. I feel like it's a really great way for him to subtly make some of the political statements that is hard for the Indian to make, because Indian politics are very complicated. I think it's just really good when you have a comedian who can break some of those cultural barriers through the comedy, so that way, you know, you can call out people on their BS but educate them on what it is. And at the same time, he's really trying to show and advise some of the cultural beauty of India. And I think that's also awesome, because we here in America don't really understand much about brown culture in general. So just to kind of get that little bit of hit of education and a little bit of like things of interest, I think that's really dope. So I give it a 4 out of 5. It's just, again, some of the stuff doesn't really hit. Like, some of the stuff can't be translated. And he even explains what some of the stuff just won't make sense. So, you know, if, for the average person who's not of any sort of Indian descent, it will miss the mark on a couple of the jokes. But he makes it very obvious and aware, so I can't take away too many points. It's just kind of like, not quite perfect. There was also a really good documentary that came out, Night on Earth. It's about all the stuff that takes place in different regions in the animal kingdom at night, because they've recently gotten technology that can view some stuff that could not really be recorded before. And I thought it was pretty interesting, because I do like animal documentaries. To see some of the stuff like, you know, the cheetah hunting as a pack at nighttime was actually pretty cool. A couple of different, like, something, you know, there's an animal that legit will eat scorpions, like will fight a scorpion and eat a scorpion and things like that. There's just some really random stuff. I give it a 3 out of 5 because I know not everybody's into this sort of thing. You know, if you've seen an animal documentary, you've seen them all. It's quite repetitive with some of the lines, but you know, the fact that they even got Samira Wiley to even narrate, I thought was dope. And no, because, you know, some actors don't really get gigs after their one big thing, you know, and she was major on Orange is the New Black, so I'm just happy to see that she's still getting work. And especially when it does become, well, she's getting work because she's gay. You know, when you have someone who just gets to play the gay character everywhere, nah, like, she's getting work because, well, she's good, and they like her and they like her personality and everything like that. So, you know, I like when that happens. So shout out to her, and shout out for the people hiring for her for this as well. Last but not least, there were a couple of shows who came back with more seasons. So first, I want to just say The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina was absolutely, positively perfect. This is a 5 out of 5. Season 3s on Netflix are known notoriously for not being that great. That's why, you know, other shows will make fun of themselves when they get to season 3, so that way now, you know, they're kind of letting you know it's not going to be as good as your expectations. But season 3 of Sabrina was probably the best they've had yet. And anyone who hasn't watched the show before, watch it now. Watch it from the beginning. Catch up. It only gets better as it progresses. The finale of this season was great. I feel like, and I wasn't sure where they could go, honestly, with the storyline. What happens after you beat the devil, right? They found a way. So this was a really good show. Great. And the other show was Family Reunion, had a second season. And you know, I've mentioned before, I like this show. It's witty, it's funny, but honestly, I gotta give this season a 3 out of 5. I just wasn't feeling the comedy as much. I don't know if it's because now you can kind of expect certain types of jokes and this, that, and the third. But the thing that really helps is the ending was interesting. It leaves you wondering what's gonna happen at the start of next season. So it's not a bad show. I just can't tell you need to watch it. I can just tell you that if you watch it, you'll get a couple of good chuckles throughout the way. You know, it's good, wholesome family, wannabe 90s TV. That's the point blank of it all. On that note, that's been this little Will's review. I will catch you guys next time. And no, I'm not picking a winner for the Super Bowl at the same time. You still watch it and enjoy the food that I eat out there.
Excuse me, I'm next in line. Move. Excuse me, I'm next in line. Watch out. Excuse me, I'm next in line. I said move. Excuse me, I'm next in line.